Okay, so I posted a new video to the Power Man 5000 song, about making rain and what it looks like. There's a bunch of thunder. This is what it's like, when worlds collide. So, like, when you alter the course of the sun and the earth, you separate the sun and the earth just a little, there's a little bit of lightning still in there and a lot of rain, water. Anyway, so they've kicked me off Facebook, and that makes me lose contact with most of my family, and that's really sad. But I'm still gonna try to share all the good information that I can. Like I'm in a very high risk area for snake bites. I've been bit 4 times so far, and I've learned about it. I've thought about it for years and years and years. So I'm going to tell you how to cure a snake bite. And I'll probably post this on Instagram and YouTube because I don't have any stuff on either one of those accounts. Except Instagram. I've got a little bit, because like Facebook came up there and is wanting me to make a double post. So, here goes. Alright. First snake bite I was ever bitten by. He was a half-breed copperhead. Half king prairie, half copperhead. Had the exact, shapes and colors and patterns as a king prairie, but then it was orange like a copperhead, right? So, a full-blooded copperhead, their fangs are out here. Well, he's a hog-nosed pit viper. So his fangs, the infamous rat snake. So his fangs are like right here. They're close together. And he's got horns sticking out of his nose. So that is a horn-nosed pit viper, alright? A hog-nosed pit viper. Now, he's only halfway venomous. So, a fully venomous snake has 2 big fat lips. Like this. Like the bottom fat lip right there. But a half-breed, it's the rat snake. His fangs been pushed closer together. So he's, like that. So he's a rat snake, right? There are too many snakes to classify like, well, we use this anti-venom for that snake, we use this anti-venomous shot for this snake, we use this anti-venomous, tree alcohol for that snake too. Well, it's pretty much the same, but you classify them by, are they non-venomous, are they halfway venomous, or are they fully venomous, alright? So this is the halfway venomous. Fully venomous snake bites are, their fangs are out here. So, there's been a lot of trouble, and there's a lot of, confusion in the hospital. They're like, this guy rolls in, he's in a snake bite. He's probably got a blood clot stuck in his head, and, and he's unconscious. Nowadays the doctors just look at people and they're like, look at him. He's doped out of his mind right now. Because they just gave him a 30-day drug test, to see what all what all substances might be in his system, right? But that's 30 days. That doesn't really mean a lot. So they're like, look at him, he's doped out of his mind right now. And then there's another doctor standing there and he's like, dude, he came in for a snake bite. We already know what the problem is. We have to do something other than sit here and condemn this man, He's like, he's almost dead right now, and you're saying he's doped out of his mind? And the other doctor's like, yeah, look at him, doped out of his whole damn body right now, But, like, the thing is that guy, the naysayer who is a doctor, he's thinking, like, if he gives him some kind of, treatment, it's going to counteract the other drugs that's in his system, He's not giving him a 24-hour mouth swab to see what he's been doing, And he's looking over the fact that 12 hours after they do this shit, some kind of shit, that he's worried about, it's not going to matter, and they can give him the anti-venom, right? So, hospital liabilities is what, some, doctors kind of get shaky and nervous about, like, doing their job and knowing how to do their job. So I'm going to tell you, just for yourself, you can go buy some anti-venomous tree alcohol. That's what a lot of the older labels say. And it's just 33 XVI, but mostly the newer labels just say methanol. Alright? So, it's got like a 33 stamped in glass, 2 3s stamped in glass, so it looks like a 3 with a lightning bolt in it, right? But you don't see that on many of the newer labels. So, half-breed snake, you probably got about 5 hours. Like if he bites you right here on the leg where this one got me, that right there, that is not a joke, okay? It's not a smiley face. That is a halfway venomous snake bite. So, I was like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? You know, I'm snake bit. If I go to the hospital, I don't have insurance. They're not going to do anything for me. You know, so, I got to one hospital and she was like, I can schedule you an appointment for 3 days out. Is that okay? I'm like, you know what? I think I've got a whole bottle of anti-venom right here. I should be fine. And I'll see if I can come back in 3 days, you know, like, you know, she suggested, but like any real medical professional wouldn't suggest some shit like that. They'd be like, sit down, we'll get to you here in a little while. And, so... what was the first thing I did? I didn't use any kind of like extraction syringe, but it was a half-breed venomous snake bite, and they say not to cut into the layers of skin because then the venom can go deeper into a deeper circulation, and that can be worse for you. So I was like, what can I do? What can I do? So I got this big knife, sharpened it up, and just, you know, took a scrape on my leg right there where the tattoo is. That's my second tattoo that I ever got. So I just took the knife and, you know, I went until it starts stinging really good, you know, and you're getting through the first few layers of the epidermis, maybe even the entire layer of the epidermis, the outermost layer of skin. So, then I used anti-venom on a halfway venomous snake bite, and it helped. You know, and my legs, you know, they go from being double in size to deflating to normal size. Within, like, you know, it'd take them an hour to swell up, and then in 15 minutes, they'd be back down to normal. And then once they got swelled up about an hour later, I kept having to put that stuff on there. So eventually, the open wound, all the venom had, you know, went out of that, and the venom was then in my legs, circulating in my legs and my body. So that stopped working, you know, and I started having to use, like, I took a knife, scraped it, you know, on my foot, and then on my leg, and then on my outside of my leg again, and then, like, finally I'd been awake for 33 hours, and the hospital was open, and I went the next day, you know, to the hospital, but, like, I made it 33 hours, you know, and so I'm still like 2 days away, or a day and a half away from the appointment. I'm just like, I'm going to have to go to a different hospital, you know, so I can talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about. And, you know, one of the doctors, he's kind of playing mind games with me whenever I first got in there, and I was like, I don't need to be, don't you say that shit to me, you know, I was like, I'm a patient, you know, I'm like, don't you say that shit to me. I was like, because, I mean, he was telling me, like, the blood veins in my legs were little baby snakes. And I was like, you shut up. You get out of here, saying that. And then there's this other guy walking by. I was like, hey, man, do you work here? He's like, yeah, sort of. And I'm like, hey, I need you to inject. Did you know you can make a lot of money in phlebotomy? I need you to inject this small bottle of anti-venom into me somehow. I didn't know. It's supposed to be your right arm, you know. And because that's closest to your cerebral cortex. And at that point in time, you know, I'd been on my feet 33 hours, and my cerebral cortex was going boom, 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 boom. It was about to lock up, and I was about to die, right? So the best thing that you can do is before you use anti-venomous tree alcohol and scrape the wound. You scrape the wound. Okay, so how do you make a suction syringe? You get a syringe about as big around as a quarter. Okay, you cut the tip off of it, and then you take a lighter and you round it, burn it, melt it round, nice and cool. Don't touch it. Blow it cool, and then take your little bit of olive oil and put around the edge of it, and then where you got that snake bite scraped on one fang or the other fang or both fangs, you put that syringe on there and you pop up a big hickey and you just hold it there. You kind of you're trying to pull the skin away from the muscle a little bit, so you kind of keep a little bit of motion like here once, like every now and then, like you hold it for 2 or 3 minutes and like you kind of move it around. And there's going to be a lot of fluid coming out of there, and it's mostly snake venom. So, like, whenever that pops off, it pops off every 5 minutes. You'll be sitting there holding it, and your whole syringe opens up. You got to push it close it down until you got about that much room. Get you a little cup of hot water, swish it off, and then, take a paper towel, and, a nice dry paper towel, double it up maybe 3 times. Like, 1, 2, so you got, 3 or 4 layers. And press that on to the bite mark, hold that on there, and then, swish out have a little cup of warm water, swish out your syringe, get that good and clean. And then, throw your tissue away or your paper towel, and then close your syringe back down. Put you a little more olive oil on there, stick it on the leg or whatever, and pull that up all the way as hard as you can. Suck up a big hickey on there again. Alright, you'll do that for about 2 hours on each fang mark, and then you're going to probably see blood clots that look like fangs. Okay, that's whenever I had the most sensation and relief of the cramping sensation on a fully venomous snake bite, and I'd only had to wait like 45 minutes before I started, about 30 minutes before I started doing the suction syringe. But after you see fang marks that after you see blood clots that look like fang marks, then is the best time to use the anti-venom. But still, if your cerebral cortex starts going, you're going to need to inject into the right arm a good dose. It's not the syringe as big as a needle. It's about, or as big as a quarter. It's about as big as it's a little bit bigger than a syringe. So after that, that's the best time to use anti-venomous tree alcohol. So I've wondered about salt warts. So here's another thing about, cancer, okay? Cancer diagnoses are not specified diagnoses. They just say there's a problem. You can see ER. You are in the hospital and the problem has not been determined. Okay, there's all kinds of things. Don't eat a mangy chicken. Don't use needles that other people use and they've been injecting their dogs and they're just tired of looking at you and they'll give you a dirty needle with the mange in it. And your hair's going to start falling out and shit. And, you're going to think, what's wrong with me? And all the doctors are going to say is cancer. They're not going to say mange like we do with, animals. Because you're a human, maybe. They don't want to insult you, but they can, try to find the cure for this. So they just tell you cancer. Alright, well, here's another kind of cancer. It's not the mange, but we're 300, 400 miles from the ocean. And we drill down like, thinking we're going to hit oil or something, But what did we hit? What's the first thing we hit? We drilled down and we hit salt. Pure salt. Just a big, 30 or 40 foot round mud hole, just layered, caked in salt. Straight, fresh salt from the earth. Okay, so we're like, well, is that any good? Well, it's salt. Yeah, that's good. We're like, well, how do you cook it? How do you prepare it? Like, is it okay to eat it raw or like all these questions? Like, of course we know not to eat it raw, but anyway, And there's a lot of people around here. There's a lot of people across, this state, the next state. They've all, like, not all of them, but, like, there's a bunch of people that hit salt. And we've all questioned, what is it? So there's the 1980s movie, The Blob, okay? This creature in this stream jumps out and, like, just latches onto this guy and, like, shrinks his whole body down, which is, like, looks like he's been through radiation treatment and everything, like, after, like, you look at him and he's all shriveled up. But that's like, chemo. Do not inject, and don't let anyone inject you with triodine, okay? There's the iodine with the anti-venom in it. That's 33 IV, IV4, 33-4. You don't want that. No. You want the good 33XVI. Okay, that's the good stuff for cancer treatments. Right? So, so I've been wondering, like, what is salt? Like, is it, like, I mean, like, is it because, like, venomous snakes and spiders, they just want to get down there and get a little taste of it, and once we come along, it's not going directly into our blood after they bite us, but, like, we eat the salt and it goes down into our skin. Or, I mean, it goes down into our digestive tract and it comes out in our skin. And it looks like warts. Raw salt is, I'll just tell you, I'm not going to debate it, like, what is it, is it raw salt? Is it a living creature, or is it just, a favorite food of all the venomous animals? Is it a living creature, or is it a favorite food of all the venomous animals? Raw salt is alive, dude. It's a living part of the earth. And if you get a salt wart, it's going to pulsate. It's going to flex. And it's going to hurt like shit sometimes. I mean, like, not like the worst pain you ever felt in your life, but it's just like, kind of pinch your cheek. Stop, like. Anyway, so it is a living creature. And, it has no further anatomy than a wart. Okay, so doctors have trouble, identifying what this creature is that's trying to live in your body. Well, raw salt causes warts. Don't eat raw salt. Morton's iodized salt is best. See, is that everything I need to say? I think I covered the snake bite pretty good. I mean, I'll have to watch this video later, make sure I said everything correctly. So, yeah, Instagram's got my sound turned down right now, so, like, I'll have to post this to Instagram later, but I don't know if they're even going to let me do that or not either. I don't know. Anyway, guys, stay healthy, be good, be careful.